The gates of Eden were closed with a thunderous echo that resonated in the very soul of humanity. Adam and Eve, clothed in skins provided by their Creator, took their first steps into a world that no longer gave its fruit out of love, but through pain. The air was heavy, the sun scorched the earth, and God's silence felt present in every corner of the wilderness. Survival became a daily battle against thorns, thistles, and thirst. This was not just a new land, it was a new reality. Every sunrise was a reminder of what was lost, every sunset a test of their endurance. The vibrant, living garden was replaced by a vast, rocky desert under a stormy sky. In the distance, the glowing gates of Eden faded into the dust, a shimmering memory of a life of perfect communion. Their journey was not just geographical. It was a profound spiritual pilgrimage from innocence to experience, from effortless abundance to the harsh, unforgiving law of survival. Adam struck the dry, unforgiving ground with tools of wood and stone, his hands quickly becoming calloused and raw. He learned that the earth, once a willing partner, was now a stubborn adversary. For every grain of wheat he managed to coax from the soil, it seemed 1,000 thorns and thistles sprang up in defiance. The sweat of his brow fell into the dust, a physical manifestation of the curse, a constant reminder of the price of their disobedience. This was toil, a concept unknown in the gentle harmony of Eden. Each day was a testament to human resilience. The sheer will to press on when every fiber of your being screams to give up. He wasn't just farming. He was warring with the very ground beneath his feet, fighting for every mouthful, for the right to see another sunrise. Meanwhile, Eve, with weathered hands, learned the alchemy of survival. She turned their meager, hard-won harvest into sustenance. She discovered which roots were edible, which berries were safe, and how to grind grain between two stones. Her work was a different kind of labor, one of quiet transformation and nurturing. She built their first primitive shelter, a fragile defense against the elements, and in the evenings, she would gaze at the sunset. Her expression a mix of profound sadness for the paradise lost and a flickering hope for the future. In the quiet nights, huddled by the warmth of a fire, they whispered memories of Eden, of walking with God in the cool of the day. The stories were tinged with sorrow, but they were also a lifeline, a connection to who they once were. It was in one of these moments that hope began to bloom again, a tangible warmth within her. Eve felt a new life stirring, a quiet miracle in a world defined by struggle. The first child of humanity was about to be born outside of paradise. Cain was born, and his name meant acquired or gotten, for Eve had said, "I have gotten a man from the Lord." He was the firstborn, a symbol of a new beginning, the first human to draw breath in this new world of labor and sorrow. Soon after, his brother Abel was born. The boys grew up under the blazing sun, their playground the rugged wilderness. Their bedtime stories were not fairy tales, but haunting accounts of a magnificent garden they would never see, of talking animals and a tree whose fruit they could never taste. They were the first generation of men born into a life of toil, their hands destined for work from their earliest days. As they grew, their paths diverged. Cain, inheriting his father's strength in a deep, almost primal, bond with the soil, became a tiller of the ground. He was relentless, powerful, a man who understood the earth's stubbornness and met it with his own. He learned the rhythm of the seasons, the language of the soil, and his identity was forged in the fields, wrestling a living from the cursed ground. Abel, in contrast, was of a quieter, more contemplative spirit. He was drawn to the silence of the hills and the gentle nature of his flock. He became a shepherd, a keeper of sheep, finding solace in the vast, open spaces and the steady, peaceful rhythm of his animals. They were two brothers, two hearts beating under the same roof, yet they were beginning to look at the world, and at their place in it, through very different eyes. One brother found his purpose in subduing the earth, the other in nurturing life. The time of maturity arrived for the two brothers, and with it came the innate human desire to connect with their Creator, to honor the God they knew only through their parents' stories. It was time for an offering, an act of worship and gratitude. Cain, the farmer, brought the fruits of his labor, the finest produce from his harvest, the product of his sweat and toil. He chose what he believed was the best of his work, a testament to his strength and dedication. Abel, the shepherd, also prepared his offering. He selected the firstborn of his flock, the best and fattest portions, offering the most precious and pure life from among his cherished animals. Both offerings were laid before the Lord, two distinct expressions of worship from two different hearts. But God's response would set in motion a tragedy far greater than the one in the garden. The Lord looked with favor on Abel and his offering, but on Cain and his offering he did not look with favor. The scriptures don't detail why, but the result was catastrophic. Cain's face fell. He became angry, his spirit crushed. In his heart, a small, dark seed of jealousy and bitterness began to take root and sprout. It was a poisonous weed, fed by rejection and pride, a shadow that threatened to grow and consume him. The Lord saw this darkness and spoke to Cain, warning him. He told him that sin was crouching at his door, desiring to have him, but that he must rule over it. It was a moment of choice, a chance to conquer the rage building inside him. But Cain's envy towards his brother, the one who found favor, was becoming an uncontrollable storm. The first great conflict of humanity was about to ignite, and the destiny of these two brothers, the first children of the fallen world, was about to change the history of blood forever. A question hung in the air, heavy and ominous. Could Cain overcome the darkness within? Or would he repeat the tragedy of Eden in a far more terrible way? The fate of brotherhood itself was on the line. Thank you for watching. If you want to see how this epic story unfolds, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell.